All right, let's get right into it. For decades, we've all been told the same story about health, and it always has the same villain, fat. But what if that story is just wrong, or at least incomplete? What if the real key to a long, amazing life isn't about what you're desperately trying to lose, but about what you should be fighting to build? Today, we're going to flip that whole idea on its head.
Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. We've all been trained to freak out when the number on the scale goes up. But what if the real, silent danger, the thing that actually predicts how well you'll live and for how long, is the slow disappearance of something we've totally taken for granted? And boom, there it is. That's the whole pivot. According to brilliant physicians like Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, we've been aiming at the wrong target for years. The real hero of your health story, the thing that's literally your body's armor and your metabolic engine, is your skeletal muscle. She calls it the organ of longevity, and for good reason. Okay, so let's get real about the stakes here. This isn't just about looking good in a bathing suit, though hey, that's a nice bonus. This is about survival, plain and simple. And the data here is, well, it's pretty staggering. It paints a picture that's impossible to ignore. So get this. This number is a big one. Studies show that if your strength level puts you in the bottom third of the population, you have a 50% greater risk of dying, not from some specific weird disease, but from, well, anything, all-cause mortality. Your raw physical strength is one of the most powerful predictors of whether you're gonna stick around. And if you think that's wild, it gets even more extreme. When you compare the strongest people to the very weakest, the weakest group has a 3 times higher risk of death from all causes. Yeah, you heard that right, 3 times. That's a 200% difference. Strength isn't just a fitness goal, it's a massive survival advantage.
And this isn't just some abstract number. This weakness shows up in brutal, real-world ways. For an older person, a simple fall can be a death sentence. And that gradual muscle loss, it has a name, sarcopenia. It kicks off this vicious cycle where you feel weaker, so you do less, which makes you even weaker. And get this, even something as simple as your grip strength is a powerful clue to your brain health, predicting your risk for devastating diseases like Alzheimer's. Okay, so we know why muscle is so important for survival, but what is it actually doing inside your body? This is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Your skeletal muscle isn't just there to move you around. It's a secret super organ that's running the show behind the scenes.
So this idea of a glucose sink is a total game changer. Think about it. When you eat carbs, they turn into sugar or glucose in your blood. That sugar has to go somewhere. Well, your muscles are like a giant sponge, a huge storage tank. They just soak that sugar right up out of your bloodstream, protecting you from the metabolic mess that leads to things like type 2 diabetes.
You know, I can sit here and talk all day, but to really, truly understand the difference between using your muscle and losing it, you've just got to see it. And this next image, honestly, it might be one of the most powerful visuals in all of health science.
Okay, here we go. Look at the left, a 40-year-old triathlete. That huge, dark, dense area, that's all powerful muscle. Now look at the middle, a 70-year-old who doesn't move much. The muscle is shrunken and it's infiltrated with fat. But now look at the right. That's a 70-year-old triathlete. Their muscle is almost indistinguishable from someone 30 years younger. This right here is the proof. That decline we blame on getting older, a huge part of it is actually just disuse.
And just when you think muscle can't get any more important, there's another incredible layer. When you actually use your muscles, when you contract them, they act like your body's own personal pharmacy. They release these powerful little molecules called myokines that travel all over your body. They talk to your brain, your liver, your immune system. They reduce inflammation. Your muscles are constantly sending out signals that keep your whole body healthy.
All right, so the case is closed. Muscle is everything. The big question is, what the heck do we do about it? Well, here's the best part. The plan is shockingly simple. This isn't about weird, complicated biohacks. It's about getting back to the basics. So let's lay out the blueprint.
It all boils down to just 2 things. That's it. First, you have to give your muscles a reason to grow. That's what we'll call strategic stress. And second, you have to give them the actual building blocks to repair and rebuild themselves stronger. That's the essential fuel. It's really that straightforward. Let's break them down.
Strategic stress is really just a fancy way of saying resistance training. And the science is super clear on this. We should all be doing it, probably 2 or 3 times a week.
And listen, this doesn't have to be scary. It could be body weight stuff at home, using some simple bands, or lifting weights. The key isn't lifting a car over your head, it's the effort. And you get the most bang for your buck with big movements like squats, push-ups, and rows. But the real secret? Just keep showing up. Consistency beats intensity every single time.
Now, for the fuel part, this is super simple. You can't build a brick house without bricks, and you absolutely cannot build muscle without protein. It's the #1 non-negotiable. Now, here's a weird twist. As we get older, our bodies get a little less efficient at using protein, so we actually need more of it just to get the same muscle-building signal. A really solid, simple target is to aim for about 1 gram of protein for every pound of your ideal body weight.
Maybe the most powerful message in all of this research is just how much hope there is. It's about taking back control, because it truly doesn't matter if you're 25, 55, or 85. It is never, ever too late to start getting stronger.
I mean, just let this example blow your mind. There was a study with frail, elderly individuals. We're talking people who struggled just to get out of a chair. And their workout, it was just squatting up and down from a high chair. That was it. And even with that tiny amount of effort, they built real muscle and got stronger. It just proves you can start right where you are today and make a real difference.
So, this really flips the whole script on aging, doesn't it? That story we've been telling ourselves for generations, that getting older just means getting weaker, more frail, and less capable, it's fundamentally wrong. The science is showing us that what we call aging is very often just the predictable result of not using our bodies. We have a choice in how we age. Ultimately, this reframes everything. Your skeletal muscle is your health retirement account. It is the currency of longevity. Every workout, every protein-rich meal, that's a deposit. So the question isn't about what you're losing anymore, it's about what you're actively building. So how are you investing in your future self?